Good evening, guys, and yes, we are back. It is the
Again.
We Know Nothing show, Thursday night specials. We are back. I'll apologise straight away. I'm just getting over what has been the worst flu in my life, so I've got a little bit of a cough. So if I have a coughing fit halfway through, I apologise for the bad sound of my chest. So welcome to the We Know Nothing show, guys. A bit of a different one tonight. Obviously, with the World Cup going on, it's going to be mainly centered around obviously the World Cup, but I'm going to do a bit of a special thing for the first thing for all you fellow clarets out there. As always, welcome to the We Know Nothing show, son. Couldn't do it without you, as always, my mate. Sorry to bore you with the best part of the evening, guys. Any constructive criticism is always welcome, but any negativity, let's keep it out. Like I said, it's just me and my best mate doing it as a bit of fun. And if anyone wants to get involved, then you're more than welcome to. So enjoy. Over to you, youngest son.
No, again, Mark, thanks for joining us again. I love doing this as you do. Last weekend I think I was first week into a new job, absolutely hanging, and we both completely forgot that we were going to do a show. I got in bed actually and said, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm looking forward to Thursday night." And then like, you know what? It's 10:10 on Thursday night.
I know. I know.
So,
we're like, we're supposed to do a show. Oh yeah, we're supposed to do a show
doing a
today.
show, buddy. Yeah, we meant to. And then we were going to try and arrange it for Sunday before the World Cup, or just slightly after the World Cup, but before England played. But Mark was ill. But so we slightly missed the start of the World Cup, but we're here now. We're going to try and do a couple of shows during the World Cup, and we'll just feedback on a few games. But like Mark said, we're going to start with a special because if we'd have started last week, we'd have been able to touch on the Burnley game. So Burnley Blackburn, training game for Burnley. We just played them off the park. 3-0 win, made it look easy. I think the whole squad played fantastic. You could see it on the players that it meant more to them than just a normal football match. And I think you got that from Vincent Kompany as well, the way that he was talking about the game in the build-up and saying, we're not having it as it's not an everyday game. This is a game and everything. This is a rivalry that a lot of people know about and listen to and understand. So fair play to them. I'm pretty sure Diaz is still in someone's pocket. They might still be passing him around the defence. Or he's still trying to find his way out of Turf Moor, because was he even there? Like, I don't know. My take on it is just we just played well. Even the bloke that's been getting so much criticism in his role of coming on and getting 5-10 minutes, Ashley Barnes, he ran the show up front. He played really well for me. There were still people talking at half time saying you should be getting him off, and I thought, you're watching a completely different game. You've just got an agenda here, because I thought he was up there with our best player on the day. He seemed to breathe the life into the team, and his goal really got us there.
Yeah, I think
he deserved it.
I think obviously I was probably like every other Burnley fan when I saw the lineup and we saw him starting. The concern for me is we weren't going to be able to do as we weren't going to be able to play as normal passing and jail dropping and we'll be able to get everyone going and get us moving forward. And I was just worrying about that side of things. But that game, make no mistake, we made for Ashley Barnes, because he's a shithouse. And the best 100%. thing best thing what could have happened to him is his company would have just said to him, I don't need to give you a team talk, we're playing bastards. Simple as that. Don't need to give you a team talk. And I think, and this is no disrespect to Darch and stuff, and I always feel like in recent weeks I've been a bit of a Darch hater. And I'm not. I just think the difference between going into a derby with company and going to a derby with Darch never talked it up. He always just sort of played it down a little bit.
Yeah.
And
it's just another game.
As soon as we played, yeah, exactly, yeah. And then as soon as we played, I think we played Crawley during the week. As soon as we won that game, that way, Vincent, straight away, you won't hear any compliments from my side about that team down the road and all this, that. And he was building it up, and and you can just, if he's giving the fans or like the media little snippets like that, what do you think he's going to be like with the boys in training and stuff like that? It'll be, it sort of reminds me, obviously not on the same grand scale, but it sort of reminds me of, remember when Jamie Oiland come in and battered us in town there when we played my score?
Yeah, it's that, but it also bred back to, the old Burnley Blackburn rivalries, the ones that we weren't winning, but we were still always up for a fight, and like the lads wanted to kick the hell out of each other, whether it was Burnley or Blackburn. Look, you can see what it meant to people. You got to look at, like, David Dunn was in the commentary, was a pundit, and he just didn't want to give anything to Burnley. We were the better team in the first half. And at half time he was like, "Oh, it's an open game," and he had Blackburn playing better, and they weren't even in the game.
They were absolutely nowhere near it. Near it. I mean, I think what surprised me the most is what I suppose. Were we that good or were they that shit? And I think I rewatched it, and we were that good. We just absolutely.
I thought we were really good. Everything that we needed to do, and everything that you can clearly see Vince and company had been working on in training that week, as well as what they've been working on all season, really.
Yeah. I think they were. Yeah, I think what it did for us is it's just give us that sort of lease of life now, as in we top at a critical time, because obviously going into new season, sort of second part of the season after the break and stuff, the momentum, trying to keep the momentum and stuff like that. But I think there'll be, I think that win would have put us on a right path. And like, just to touch on last couple of points I want to make about them before we move on, is when we get back into the second part of the season, just listen to these and see if if you don't get excited, then are you even a Burnley fan? But Scott Twine will be back. Chernoloff will be back. Ashley Westwood will be in light training, set to return to full training. So you've got Chernoloff there, who I thought when he come on for us a few games, he looked good. He showed some good touches. Scott Twine, he's going to be like like a revelation. And Westy's like a Corky for me now. Westy can do that role what Cork's doing.
Yeah, but who was it? It was Brownhill has come out this week and said, when you see Scott Twine back fit in the net, you're going to see a player. So if your mate's saying that in training, then we're going to. You better believe that you're going to, especially when the players that are playing in front of him have been playing really well. If you're expecting to see something else,
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And there's been a lot of talk about injuries and is he up to speed and all this and all that. I think he's just had an injury, but I don't think Vince and companies want to come out and start spurting about people not being fit and stuff like that.
No.
So yeah, I think that's it for me. I think there are a group of people that are going to come back. The squad's going to get bigger. It's just going to mean more competition for places. That's only a good thing.
And I've heard just on the last point, what I wanted to say is that I've heard that they've already done the deal for Callum O'Hare, 6 million
from Coventry, which I don't know much about him, but again, at the start of this season, I didn't know much about half of the players that we signed, and Christ, look at him.
It just goes to show, though. It just goes to show for me, though, that I think company must rate him because he's chased him all summer and then he's gone straight back in for him. So there must be, there must be something there. And Coventry will be kicking himself now because they could have got nearly close to 9 million for him, and now they're having to sell him because they've no money. So more for them, to be fair.
Well, I think they might get lucky because the stadium's been bought by Mark Ashley, hasn't it? So, but it looks like he will. It looks like he will come to Burnley. So it looks like it might already be a done deal, but still,
happy days
might well be saved because Mark Ashley's bought the ground already, hasn't he? So,
well, he just wants the ground, though, doesn't he? He don't want the club; he just wants the ground.
Yeah, but he'll take the club as well. He won't buy the club, but the club will stay at the ground. It's the lifeblood of Coventry as a whole. Like, if you don't have Coventry, they go somewhere else and play football. Even when they were playing at Birmingham, they were getting a decent crowd. Coventry's quite a well followed club, to be fair, I believe. So anyway,
they were a decent club, weren't they? Anyway, enough of that shit.
Yeah, World Cup, Qatar started.
Yeah, man.
I want to talk England first. We obviously named a 55-man squad, or didn't name a 55-man squad. Everybody, but all countries did. All countries got a massive squad together. They had to name as many players as possible so that they could dwindle it down. 55-man got down to the current squad size of 26, I think, maybe. So looking at the squad, who would I can read the squad out. I've got it in front of me. If that helps, who do you think has gone that maybe shouldn't have gone, and who do you think is at home but probably should have gone? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So your goalkeeper, I might not be in order of form. It actually is. So your goalkeepers are Pickford, Nick Pope, and Ramsdale. I can't see an issue with any of them three. Pickford was always going to be in there. Never let England down. Nick Pope and Ramsdale are probably the two form keepers, English keepers in the Premier League at the minute. So
yeah, exactly.
Then we've got Walker, Shaw, Stones, Maguire, Trippier, Eric Dyer, Cody, Alexander-Arnold, and Ben White. They're your defenders. Obviously, a lot of people again were a bit like, Maguire's in there. Why is Maguire in there on form? He's not playing for club. Well, internationally, he's never let Gareth Southgate down, and I don't think he did. I don't think he did on. Obviously, we're after the game now. We won 6-2. The first goal. Look, the guy.
He's made a good run at the back of him, but the defender has to come across and cover it though.
Yeah,
so Maguire's gone. One goes, one stays, don't they?
If you watch to start off with, the player that scores steps away slightly from Maguire.
Yeah, he does.
And then Maguire steps up towards him because he's expecting a straight ball to him, not this cut-out pass. Look, the cut-out pass was an amazing ball. It was perfectly weighted. It fed him. He didn't even he just strode onto it and hit it.
Yeah, he's straight into his stride, wasn't it?
I think it's harsh on Stones saying you have to get across and potentially cover him behind because Harry Maguire has to step because, again, he gets a free shot. if Harry Maguire doesn't stay. And we're talking about like really fine margins. We won 6-2. They've got a penalty where we should have had a penalty other end for GBH, but who is there anybody that's missing out of the defence there that you think may well have gone that hasn't?
I know it sounds stupid to say, but I wouldn't have took Eric. I don't know if I'd have took Eric Dyer.
It's just to cover a centre half. I think I'm not. For me, I think he goes in front of Ben White for me and Cody.
No, he goes in front of Cody. He don't go in front of Ben White. Ben White's been quality for Arsenal this season.
He did though, didn't he? Because Harry Maguire went off and Eric Dyer came in at centre half.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think it's a weird one because I think, and I'll probably get a lot of shit for this for saying it, but I don't really care. But like the lad at Newcastle who plays left back for him but centre half, Dan Burn, absolutely quality.
I would have said I think he's the only player that potentially could have come in, and
for me, absolutely quality.
He would have taken Cody's place. Like, I think Cody's
quality.
Don't get me wrong, I think Cody's a solid centre half, but yeah, damn, he's been playing so well. So why wouldn't you take him on form and arguably playing better than Cody?
And that's I mean, and I think that to me is where I think I fall out with Southgate a little bit because like he defensively he's just gone off. I mean, Ben White had to go because he's been playing quality at Arsenal.
Yeah.
I think he's not even looked at Dan Burn, and Dan Burn since Newcastle signed him last season from Brighton.
Yeah, it's been a different class.
Quality.
Yeah.
He's been quality, and he's up there with one of the best defenders in league at the moment. Because look where Newcastle are. The performances are speaking for himself, aren't they? So I think defensively he's probably got it right, except probably maybe
Cody for Dan Burn.
Cody, Dan Burn or something like that. Yeah. But
so, midfield, shall I run through midfield? So we've got midfielders: Declan Rice, Jack Grealish, Jordan Henderson, Calvin Phillips, Saka, Mount, Foden, Jude Bellingham, Maddison, Conor Gallagher. There's a few names in there that stand out a little bit for me and think I might not have taken you, but also there's a few in there that you think, okay, you're like your Jude Bellingham's, Foden's, Mount, Saka, Grealish, Rice. They were always going. So then, Jordan Henderson again has been a solid player for Gareth Southgate for a while now. But I think his form this season, and he hasn't potentially played as much as he would have liked this season through injury and stuff. I think just the form in general, as well as of Liverpool, hasn't been as well as good as everybody expected. So I think it's but then Calvin Phillips, he's got an injury. I don't think now he plays a part in this World Cup. I just can't see it.
Well, I can't see him. I mean, the only way he gets in that team now is if Southgate reverts to type and goes two holding midfielders and he puts Rice and Phillips in. But then I can't see him going backwards. So I don't think you can. You've got to get Bellingham in that team. Bellingham has to play in that team.
The only time he will do that is if we come up against a Brazil who are very attackive. But then you've got to play Jude Bellingham because I believe that if you play Jude Bellingham, you can put him as a sitting midfielder and let him run off.
Yeah.
So have Declan Rice and then run because he played on Monday and he was everywhere. And
quality.
He would have been one of the players that I would have taken off. just to say thank you very much. You've run your day today.
Yeah.
You don't need to run anymore. But he left him on and kept
exactly.
and let him get that game time in his legs.
Yeah.
But obviously Phillips is still carrying a knock. Maddison arguably deserved a call up. But probably should have been called up in an international friendly and then been given a chance to prove himself, because again, where's he going to come in? We're not just going to sub him on to take a free kick. I know he's arguably the best dead ball specialist we've had since David Beckham.
I think for me, I think Maddison, it's a tricky one with Maddison because I want him to play Foden in that role what Mount plays.
Yeah.
I want him to play there. I want him to play Foden there so he can get on ball. Where the way you put Maddison in that team is that if you put Foden on the left and take Maddison out and Mount out, you put Maddison in there. That's how you get Maddison in that team. But Maddison has, I mean, going back to who would I have took Henderson? No.
But who would you have taken? Who would you have taken instead?
I'd have taken James Ward-Prowse.
Again,
because the reason
very
why,
similar player to a Maddison.
Similar, yeah, absolutely, he is. But the difference is Jordan Henderson. We've got that in Phillips.
Yeah, but
and
is
Rice
Phillips
and Bellingham.
Is Phillips fit? That's the question. And it only takes.
I think he is.
It only takes one game, and you could have Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham both injured, or one get a red card and one get injured, and then you need your two midfielders. So you need a Henderson who's steady Eddie, always there, always composed, doesn't do anything special, but always is always
you've
composed.
Got Finger there as well, though. You've got Dyer there as well.
Yeah,
Dyer can play that role as well.
Look, we're pulling it like we're pulling strings, aren't we? You know, it's fine, very fine details. You know, what about Conor Gallagher? Arguably, again, another player that potentially deserved to be there on recent form, I would say.
It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one for him because he's not playing week in, week out at Chelsea.
But
so
would it not have been that same with Maddison, like bringing him into an international friendly and letting him play in that? Because we know.
Well, he has played him, hasn't he? He has brought him in. He has played international friendlies, hasn't he? He's played under Southgate.
It's been minimal, hasn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think the big difference. I think the big difference with Gallagher and Maddison is that Maddison had fallen out of favour under Southgate, and Maddison's form has pushed him into this squad, and that's what you need to. That's what people need to remember about Maddison.
Foden as well, though, doesn't it? Like Foden's not, and you know, look, the squad for the first game. We haven't touched on strikers there. We took Harry Kane, Raheem Sterling, Marcus Rashford, and Callum Wilson. I can't.
In fact, let me go back to defence really quickly. I tell you, I would have took Tomori from Milan and not took Dyer.
That's a shout. Sorry, we missed Tomori out there.
Yeah, Tomori should have gone.
He was arguably one that did deserve to go as well. Yeah. I agree.
How can you play a part? How can you play a part in helping Milan win the league and not even get a look in it World Cup squad? It don't make any sense. He should have gone for me over Dyer.
I don't get it. You strike, like I said, I don't get it as well. Strikers, Harry Kane, always going to be there, wasn't he? Captain. Sterling, Rashford, and Wilson. Now, Harry Kane didn't score in the opening game, but hell, he had a game for me. I think.
Yeah, he played well. I think he played very well.
He dropped deep very few times, which is good for what we need from Harry Kane. But actually, when he did drop deep, he was able to turn and get back through and get to where he needed to be again. I think it was the Marcus Rashford goal where the ball is hit long into him, and he backs into his defender, takes a touch, and then just rolls it to Rashford. And Rashford does well with his finish. You know, cuts off his favourite right foot puts it
I'm
onto
so
his
happy
left
for him.
and rolls
So
it
happy
in.
for Rashford.
I think that's the thing, and I think he had the whole COVID helping the world as well as the Euro fatigue, and I think that was very much the same as Harry Maguire. And we're talking about two Manchester United players who are coming into a club that is in turmoil. Let's not bones about it. I've got a comment coming about a certain person that we
What
will
you
touch on.
think United are in turmoil?
No, I think it's perfect, isn't it? And who knows what when they came back from the Euros. I know we're talking a little while ago now, but Harry Maguire's form, for instance, has been way off since the Euros. The change of managers and things like that, and what they brought. They came back from how hard was pre-season for Harry Maguire when he came back from the Euros. He's a big boy, he's tall and he's tall. It takes its toll out of you, I believe, when you go to the Euros and then you come back and you go straight into a massive pre-season. So yeah,
it would have done.
And I think that was the same with Rashford. He had a lot going on, and it's taken its toll on him. I'm glad to see Callum Wilson in there.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
But
I'm under no illusions or the reason they did take Tony is because these betting offences that were up against him.
Oh yeah,
100%. FA would have told Southgate you can't take him because
just because
he's
of
got
what's
this
going
thing
on.
coming. Yeah, absolutely. I do think he would have took him.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I do think he would have took him if he didn't have that, because I think he offers some.
I think he might have dropped a midfielder and taken Tony as an extra, and not
took Gallagher or something,
and gone with 5. And I think a midfielder came in for Tony and not Callum Wilson. I think Callum Wilson was always going.
Possibly.
He really offers something else straight down the middle.
I like him. I've always liked Callum Wilson. I think he's just very unlucky.
Yeah, he's had a couple of knocks. He's very much a similar player to your likes of Danny Ings, who again went through that and never really found the form that he had when he got his move to Liverpool. And then obviously you're trying to break into a Liverpool squad that's full of stars anyway was hard, and then getting injured. Yeah, so the squad for the first game, Pickford obviously started in goal. I didn't see it any other way, to be perfectly honest.
No, I agree.
Kieran Trippier right back, John Stones, Maguire, and then Luke Shaw with Bellingham and Rice. It showed Bellingham and Rice as sort of holding, but it was definitely a Rice holding. Bellingham with a free roll, Mount sat in front of them. And then Sterling and Saka playing not as high as expected, but they were high enough that they were able to get around Harry Kane. Sterling's Sterling played well, Saka played well. I kind of thought Mount was a little quiet at times.
Me
but
too.
I think it's a tough one to get involved in when you've got Jude Bellingham behind you, who's all over the show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's running the show behind you, sort of doing like everybody's position.
That kid didn't do anything wrong. I think there's going to be, if you're in top 4, top 5 Premier League clubs, you're trying to sign Jude Bellingham this season at the end of the season. Real Madrid, Barcelona.
I don't think it's even top. I don't think it's even top 4 younger. I think you're looking at I think there's only I mean, given the United situation at the minute, maybe that's going to throw it in their favour. I mean,
now they've got rid of Cristiano Ronaldo. They're going to make it. They'll have a lot of wage budget to mess around with. So
he'll be at least 120, 30, 40 million easily going in that price range. Easily. He's 19-year-old. He's English. He's captain of Dortmund. Said it all at 19.
He's quality, is what he is.
Yeah. Probably one of the best talent. I mean,
that header that he scored was. It's just one of them. He's got there. He's up in the air. He's hanging. It's phenomenal header. I think we start exactly the same. I don't think he'll change it. I think players did enough when they came on to potentially change the game and potentially pull someone out. But Saka scored 2 goals. Sterling scored a goal. The only person I would say that is Mount, but he's not going to take Mount out for Foden. I think he wants to play Foden a wider player. I think that's not where we want to see him. We want to see him in that middle of that park running the game. But then you've got Jude Bellingham in there as well with Declan Rice. So I don't see him changing the starting lineup. I think we go out exactly the same. I think that's his team.
Yeah, I think you could be right, and I think if you know, given where we are, I think tomorrow we'll win. I think we'll win comfortably.
I think it'll be a bit harder than the other night. I think.
It'd be harder. Yeah, it'd be harder, but I don't. I think
2-1, 2-0, something like that. I expect to.
Yeah, and result. I think as well, if they do win tomorrow, if they do win, and if Wales beat Iran in the morning, then the pressure's on America when they play us, because America will know that going into that last game, Wales need to get something off us.
Yeah,
and USA need to beat Iran by cricket score to get anywhere near it. But I think
if we win tomorrow night, we then change the side against Wales. So I think
that's what I was going to say.
Harry Kane will sit out probably.
Wilson, put Wilson in.
Yeah, Harry Kane will sit out. Your starting players that are in that starting team there will start looking at sitting out, and you'll get your Conor Gallaghers getting games, and you'll get your Codys at centre half. You might even see a different keeper in the goal for that game, because it's. I think we're already through then, so why not give other players game time and not just sat on the bench?
What the squad's there for.
Yeah,
it's what the squad's there for.
If you've got to rest Harry Kane at some point, but you've also got to get the win, so you would put him on the bench and hope that you don't have to bring him on and you comfortably beat Wales. But again, it's one of them. It's rivalry right there, isn't it? It's I've knocked you over. Now I've got to get it to stand back up again. There we go. It's a rivalry. It's a derby, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, what I will say is, if we beat USA tomorrow, I think going into that Wales game, I think it gives the lads a rest, because he'll know he's starting for the second round. So I just think I'm refusing to get carried away, because I just look at it in a minute and I'm just thinking, maybe for the first time looking at this World Cup, don't get me wrong, the World Cup should not be in Qatar. Everything that Qatar stands for, in the sense of human rights and what's happened with the stadium, and this belief of they don't believe in gay marriages and all that, I think it's an absolute disgrace that they not come to the 21st century and stuff. But that's their religion and stuff, and that's their views, and I get that.
Well, there was a couple of points that were made recently in at the Hugo Lloris. Was it Hugo Lloris? He's the French goalkeeper, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's French captain as well. He came out and he said, when people come to France, we expect them to abide by our laws, our rules, our religions, our belief system. So why, when I go to Qatar, should I not abide by their belief systems and stuff? And he has a fair comment right there.
He does, yeah. He has got a point. He has got a point.
We also have to look down the line of, like you say, all the other points: the gay marriage, the women being mistreated,
migrant workers.
I nearly said slave, but they pretty much are, aren't they? But migrant workers, but I also saw another comment, and I don't know 100% how true it is, but the England strip, to buy an England strip is around about £120 for the full England strip. It gets made in Bangladesh by people that are getting paid 21 pence an hour.
Yeah.
So, we can hype on about it, but we also do stuff like that. Now, that's also not right. But then, if we're going to do something, we have to say we're going to do it. What's a yellow card in the grand scheme of things? Like,
well, I was just going to touch on that because I just feel like I think it's like
they're not going to kick you out of the World Cup.
No, but the problem is the thing for me with this is that FIFA are hypocrites because they're coming out saying, "Oh yeah, Qatar welcomes everyone and Qatar does this and Qatar does." Well, if they welcome everyone, then what's the problem with the One Love armband? Then there's no problem with it, is it? You've got that Infantino, who's an absolute moron, coming out saying, "I'm disabled today. I feel gay today. I feel Qatari today." Absolute moron. What an absolute idiotic, absolute idiotic statement to come out with. Yeah. Like, as if that is then going to just change everything. Everyone's going to be all right with you and just feel like, "Oh yeah, that's fine. You've made a statement like that. Oh, the World Cup's fine then." Look, I think for me, I think what they've got to look at is the fact of the matter is that it's not going to change anything now for the present. What I'm hoping it's going to do though is that I'm hoping that I've never been involved in a world or seen the build up of a World Cup what has been talked about for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, but it's the next one, not the next one, the one after that, I think is being linked with Saudi Arabia. Again, it's a very money-driven country, not very football-driven. I think we've got to be thinking about football countries here, like countries that are. And I'm not saying it has to be held in England. I'm not saying it needs to be held in Germany. There are a lot of football-rich countries around the world, not money-rich countries that are building stadiums with air conditioning. That when the World Cup is over, they're going to go to ruin, and these people that have lost their lives and all that for these stadiums to be built are now forgotten about. Their memory in the stadium is gone, and so it's a little somber moment.
Anyway, let's get let's get enough of that off these sort of negativity of it. Look, it's good to see that there's football on every single day. Obviously, that's a Brucey bonus.
Should we touch on some results that we've had so far? Because obviously
they've been pretty average, haven't they?
England went and scored 6 in their first game, but then we've had some other dodgy results. Argentina losing 2-1. What a result that is. Hopefully that doesn't boost them on and they turn into a great team, but they looked average.
Bang average.
Yeah.
Bang average.
Germany didn't look up there and again got beat 2-1. Rudiger, you fully deserved it, you plonker. When he was running like an absolute idiot past the Japan player thinking he was it, and then actually you get beat 2-1. And a lot of people are giving him a grief. Eden Hazard has come out and said, all this political rubbish because they stood up and, they wore the One Love armband and they did a gesture at the start of the game. It's not all politics, Being gay is not political, is it? So,
exactly.
It's not. It's got nothing to do with politics. It's got to do with sexual orientation and
exactly
what that person believes they are.
Chooses.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's about having a choice. You know, people in their country will be LGBT community, but can't be BTQ because the country don't allow it. And then Spain went and looked and won 7-0. They didn't play a great team, but they looked good. Like, I saw a comment, and from what I saw, the comment rang true. It looked like Manchester City playing football. You know, that quick passing, moving, sharp on the deck. It barely went above waist height a lot of the time. It was just so.
Yeah, it's just unreal.
And then tonight we've seen Brazil have just gone and won 2-0, and again it was a bang average performance. Now, it's first games. You know, how much can you read into it? But it also puts a lot of onus on the next two games for Argentina and Germany. If we want two big teams in the next round, you know, if we want to see arguably one of the greatest players in the world to get into the next few rounds, we need an Argentina there, don't we? I don't want to see him there. I don't want it. I don't care. I don't want to see him there because chances are we'll play Argentina and they'll beat us on penalties. So, no thanks, Lionel Messi. You can go home now. Thank you very much. But really, they were the main results that I wanted to touch on. There's been a lot of 0-0 draws and like low-scoring games. But like I say, we are first games of the World Cup. I want to touch on another player that's been doing the rounds before we call it an end, and that is Cristiano Ronaldo. Now I'm going to start on a high to start off with, because he scored this afternoon for Portugal, and he's become the first male footballer to score in 5 consecutive World Cups. Germany 2006, South Africa 2010, Brazil 2014, Russia 2018, and he's gone and scored a penalty today in Qatar 2022. He's not going to play in the next World Cup. There's no chance that is happening. I say that now, it's Cristiano Ronaldo, isn't it? He's only 37, so he would be 41 at the next World Cup. It wouldn't put it past me. But let's touch on him at Man United now. The ins and outs of it, we don't 100% know. He's fully in his interview, which I haven't had chance to get round to watch. But from the snippets, he's fully blaming the club. I think the way he's gone about it is stupid. However, he's been being, advised by the wrong people to do the interview, but it must be being treated by the club a certain way for him to go about that. And then for that interview to come out, and then the Glazers a couple of days later to then say, yeah, we're looking at investment, we're looking at selling the club. They must also know that there's something not right. When there's Messi and Ronaldo, who throughout our lifetime have been the best players in the world. You know, there's been a few players up there. Your Rivaldo's, Ronaldinho's, Ronaldo. You know, the other Ronaldo, number 9 Ronaldo. You know, there's been a few players out there, your Zidane's and things, but these two have been a level above them as well, haven't they? So, I think.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think?
Cristiano Ronaldo's just scored in his 5th consecutive World Cup. Of course, I think.
I don't know. That's another call.
You know, the number 9 Ronaldo, he was just a different class player, wasn't he?
He was just. But that's what I mean. I think injuries did him. But what we need to remember is that they were playing in a time where football was football.
wow, you were allowed to do a bit more kicking and stuff, but injuries cost him. But you can only judge it on the players, and I've always said it. I think it's Cristiano Ronaldo for me. Excuse me, because of where he's played, because of what he's done at different football. And look, let's get it right. Ronaldo was Man United's top goal scorer last season. You don't go from being top goal scorer to being told you're coming on for 3 minutes when you're beating Tottenham. I get it. It's a professional football, and if you get told you're going to play football, then you go on the pitch. You don't walk off down the tunnel. I think he probably regrets that, and I think it's probably part of the reason why he's done this interview and tried to make the scapegoat Manchester United more than himself, because I think he regrets it, and I think he probably he's got his own way, hasn't he? He's got out of Man United. He clearly didn't get on well with Ten Hag. That's been an issue right there. I think he's probably right about the people above not making the right decisions. I think there's been quite a few and Man United fans will probably agree that's been in the last few years. There's been quite a few wrong decisions for Man United that they've managed to just get away with.
Well, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because I feel like it's not been right since pre-season, the whole Ronaldo situation. There's been somewhat bubbling over since pre-season.
But again, he mentioned it in his interview, didn't he, about his son passing away in Liverpool. Liverpool made a gesture and did a round of applause, and Man United did absolutely nothing. And I get it. Like, it doesn't need to
be that though
public. But what did they do? What?
But the problem is that I don't know whether Ian Wright made a good statement about him, and Ian Wright said it feels like he's struggling with coming to the terms that he's at the end of his career, because he doesn't look the same. He doesn't look the same player.
Well, maybe, but I don't think you go from Juventus, where you're potentially about to sign for arguably the best manager in the world, at Manchester City, do a U-turn because arguably one of the best managers in the world that we've ever seen in Alex Ferguson says you can't go and sign for them, you've got to sign for us. Then you go and be the leading goal scorer for the club in the Premier League, and then you're nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I don't mean it.
Marcus Rashford has gone through a slump. Yes, he's a young lad, but he's refound his form. And I think Cristiano, and correct me if I'm wrong, Marcus Rashford had stuff go on in his private life that made him have a slump. He's come away from that now and he's gotten up. Cristiano Ronaldo, son died. Like, I'm pretty sure it's grief that he's been going through, and he's had a slump in his form. He didn't do a full pre-season, and like we said earlier, a pre-season for Harry Maguire a couple of seasons absolutely killed him all last season and still potentially into this season. Because if you remember, this season started even earlier than the previous one. So, because they had to do it because of the World Cup.
Yeah,
I
feel like there is 100%. There's lots of factors, but at the end of the day, he's a Manchester United player.
He was.
Eric Ten Hag. Yeah, he was. Sorry, Eric Ten Hag. Eric Ten Hag is the manager of Manchester United. Eric Ten Hag has decided that they're going to go in a different direction. So for me, I get the whole I want to win, I'm a winner, and I want to play, and I get that. But what I would have liked to see is a bit of, like, diplomacy and a little bit of, being an adult, and just I think he could have sat down with him and just.
I still think, like, I look back at that game where he walked out, and I think you shouldn't have walked out. But
no, he shouldn't have done.
Ten Hag should have been bringing a young lad on there. He should have left Cristiano Ronaldo on bench, and he's tried to make a statement by bringing Cristiano Ronaldo on for 3 minutes. And I think it's a bit of sort of childish behaviour from both of them right there. People haven't said it much, but I think he's done it to try and get one up on Cristiano. I brought him on for 3 minutes. I'm the boss. And Cristiano Ronaldo's walked out saying, "I'm the best player in the world. You don't do that to me." So I think it's childish, slightly childish from them both. And I think Tang Hart knows that he probably should have tried bringing it. If he were going to waste time, you bring a young lad on. You weren't going to lose 2-0 up. It wasn't going to happen with 3 minutes to go realistically.
But it's a new chapter for him now anyway.
Yeah, look, we're only talking about him realistically because he's gone on and done. He's scored 5 consecutive World Cups and he's done this. I wasn't really going to put him down, to be honest, but when someone does something that amazing, then why not? But yeah, that was where I wanted to touch on. Last bit, I think, is where do you see England finishing, and who wins the World Cup after the start that you've seen?
Well, I think for the first time in a lot of years, I think attacking wise, I think we can match any team in the competition. Like attacking wise, I think we've got the goals in the team for a change. I think what's going to be our undoing is defensively. I'd like to see us go all the way as into the final, but I can't see that. I think we'll get to the quarters tops. I think we'll just be outdone by a better team. I think going into the tournament, I was saying it with Argentina or Brazil. I've been watching them both play. I'm going to stick with Brazil because I just feel. I think obviously Argentina's and Germany's next 2 games, respectively, Germany play Spain and Argentina play Mexico. So you're looking at that and thinking if they lose them games, they're out. So there's massive pressure on Germany and Argentina, respectively. But I think Brazil will be. I'll be very surprised if Brazil aren't there and thereabouts at the end of it.
Yeah, I think after watching the amount, I didn't watch loads of it because it was bedtime for the kids. But after watching the some of the Brazil game, I think there's a few frailties in the way that they play, and I think Neymar is a fantastic player, but I think you can get in his head. I think you can get him booked. Yeah. I think you can probably get him sent off, and I think we've got enough Premier League quality to, Richarlison's the guy that's scoring goals. I think we've got enough Premier League quality at the back to stop Richarlison from scoring goals. I think I still look at it and I still think when I look at other people's defenders, we've still got good defenders. And I don't think there's another country out there that's got like really solid big defenders, will win the ball in the air but can also play a little bit of football. Like the football that we played the other night was very attackive, played out from the back, played well. It was only when we went towards 4-0 up that we really slowed down and we didn't really need to go and attack, and it came from the back. So for me, I think if we comfortably beat USA next, I can see us in the final. I think because I just think we'll just have a little bit too much for certain teams this year. I think the losing to Italy has given us a lot of lessons. I think it's given having this run of form in the build-up of losses has given us playing this game that we played on Monday. we would have drawn that in a pre-season friendly. I think that's, Iran sat deep, weren't hard to break down, but previously we would have found that sitting deep
difficult,
hard to break down, hard to get in behind.
Yeah.
So I think the way that we played, how we strategically broke them down, how we went wide one way and then changed out quickly.
Yeah.
Bellingham, people were saying that he can't start. Pundits were saying that he shouldn't. He's a great talent, but maybe he's not ready to start at a World Cup. Well, hold on a minute. He's been up there with one of the best players in the first few games of, if not the best player, the way that he played football.
Yeah, exactly.
He probably wouldn't go missing some of the other top teams in the world. You wouldn't think he's going to go missing, and like we've already said, he's going to end up moving to somewhere probably for £100+ million. So
easily.
So you've got a Brazil win. I've got outsiders England or Spain, and I think you might see. I think it's a hard one. France or Germany might come good. I think Brazil.
Sure.
I think Brazil are going to falter. I think Brazil try to rely too much on this factor of we've got this flair player in Neymar. I think that'll kill him. For me.
Yeah, possibly.
I think when his temperament goes, I think that's what happens. I think you can see it at times when he plays for PSG. When his temperament goes, he goes off the boil. And I think without your talisman, you go. Albeit they've got a lot of good players, so I don't know. But I think that's it, mate, for tonight. I think we've covered all the points on the piece of paper and a few more. And what a show again.
Easy peasy. Yeah, easy peasy, yeah. Enjoy tonight. But yeah, so there you have it, guys. We're at the end of the show now. We will obviously probably do a few more while the World Cup's on. And then we'll get straight back into it when the EFL starts up again and the Premier League starts again.
Out.
Yeah, QPR, exactly. A big game to get back to as well, pending Neymar not have a manager when we go back.
So already sold out. Tickets are already gone.
Yeah, gone. So there's a buzz around the Clarets, and so there should be. But yeah, like I said, guys, if you want to get involved, get in touch with us on Facebook, we're on Twitter.
We'll take anybody if you want to come on and talk football.
Yeah, come on and talk football. Exactly. But yeah, so thanks as always, guys. Youngie, thanks as always to you.
Thanks, Mark. It's been
pleasure
to have you on.
Pleasure.
Always.
Hey, my cough held up.
As well. Only one coughing session, I believe, in that.
Yeah, only one, which were good. Yeah. Right. All right. Night, guys. Take it easy, Youngie.
Yep. See you later, mate.